There is stunning new news coming out of Honduras related to alleged criminal and former President Manuel Zelaya. It has been alleged that Zelaya has ties with the international drug trade. In a statement from current Foreign Minister Enrique Ortiz, he said, quote, "Every night, 3 or 4 Venezuelan registered planes land without the permission of appropriate authorities and bring thousands of pounds and packages of money that are the fruit of drug trafficking. We have proof of all of this. Neighboring governments have it. The DEA has it." The DEA is, of course, the Drug Enforcement Agency of the United States government. A spokesman for that agency, Rusty Payne, would neither confirm nor deny that there is an investigation into the allegations that Ortiz is leveling against deposed President Zelaya. This obviously throws a whole different spin on what is going on in Honduras. Just to give a little bit of background, there's a lot of people that haven't been following this, don't really know what's occurring, and there's a lot of falsehoods being perpetrated about the events that have led to this. First of all, this was not a coup. I repeat, this was not a coup. A coup is when the military takes over power and installs a military commander as the president or the head of state. That is not what happened in this situation. The person who is now serving as the interim president, or the temporary president until November scheduled election, is Roberto Michellete. Michellete was probably the equivalent of the Speaker of the House or something to that effect in the Honduran Congress. He's not a military man, has no military ties that I'm aware of. This was an orderly, legal process, contrary to what Barack Obama dissembled the other day, saying that it was not a legal process. In a nutshell, what occurred was this. Zelaya wanted to emulate his mentor, Hugo Chavez, the dictator of Venezuela. Chavez, who knows something about coups himself, as he participated in one in, I believe, the late 90s, Chavez basically kind of went along the same routes as Franklin Delano Roosevelt did in the 1930s, which was he stacked the courts, he kind of stacked the deck so that he could get around term limits, essentially, and just basically become the king of Venezuela into perpetuity. Well, Zelaya is, in the Honduran Constitution, you are only allowed to serve as president for 1 4-year term. We are coming to the end of former President Zelaya's term, or what would have been the end of his term. He basically wanted to hold a referendum, which was not, which was ruled upon by the Honduran Congress, the Honduran Supreme Court, to be illegal. He was told explicitly that it was against the law to do what he was attempting to do, which was to, circumvent the law, circumvent the Constitution, to try to keep himself in power, basically become another Chavez. And he was warned, he was told, he just refused to comply with the law of the nation, and essentially, according to reports, smuggled in ballots from Venezuela that Chavez provided to him, and was just told the army, look, we're doing the referendum, and you need to help me hold the referendum. The army refused, on orders from the Supreme Court, I believe. So this was anything but a coup. It was anything but lawlessness. This was the rule of law, and this was a power-mad individual who felt that he was above the law. And as in any democracy where there are separate but equal branches of government, or separate checks and balances of government, 2 other areas of government and the law enforcement agency in the military overruled him. Basically said, you have to be accountable to the law as everybody else is. This was absolutely legal. It was just. Zelaya felt that he could do anything he wanted. He couldn't. He was held to account. He was had to assume responsibilities for his actions. There are rumors that when the military came on order of the Supreme Court to arrest him for breaking the law, going against the Constitution, there are rumors that he made a deal with them to escort him out of the country. And they did that, whether it was a deal or not. They took him to Costa Rica. Now he did his little stage show at the United Nations today, which the United Nations is an embarrassment. It's a joke. They gave him a standing ovation, which is so stupid. It almost defies belief. But unfortunately, but not surprisingly, Barack Obama has totally humiliated himself, America, the world, by acceding to this idiotic, illegal sentiment of reinstalling this criminal, this alleged criminal. And I'm talking about being an alleged criminal before the drug accusations, the drug ties. And this is the absolute, it's the antithesis of democracy. There's a reason why we have a constitution, why Honduras has a constitution, and it is to prevent power plays like what Zelaya was attempting to do. Further, not only is it legally wrong, it's ridiculously hypocritical. Barack Obama said that we should not be, quote, meddling in international affairs such as Iran. Now, of course, that didn't prevent him from trying to meddle in the affairs of one of our greatest Middle Eastern ally, Israel, by trying to tell them how to run their settlements. That's a whole different story. Anyway, we're basically watching people like the Neda, I believe the woman's name was, that the famous protester that was killed in Iran. We're basically watching her and others be killed in broad daylight and not doing anything. And now we have a guy that was legally, of his own actions, taken from power, and we're freaking out. We're, it's like a 4-alarm fire. It's ridiculous. It's hypocritical. It's embarrassing. It's disastrous. This is an enormously, incredibly bad precedent that President Obama has set. I have seen on our channel, on Conservative New Media, we have received, I don't know, maybe 30 comments from people either in Honduras or of Honduran descent. They are furious at Obama. Absolutely, totally stunned, angry, and I think that the reality of what has happened has hit them very hard. And needless to say, they won't be on the Obama 2012 bandwagon. Now, a couple other quick quotes. We'll wrap this up. Here's some quotes from a current president, Roberto Micheletti, on the assumption that Zelaya is going to come back to the country with foreign leaders. I believe the president of Argentina, and I don't know, one of the heads of the Organization of American States, which is an absolute joke organization, just a crazy leftist organization. This is what Micheletti had to say about that. Quote, "No one can make me resign." And he also said, Zelaya has already committed crimes against the Constitution and the law. He can no longer return to the presidency of the Republic unless a president from another Latin American country comes and imposes him using guns. He is, of course, referring to Hugo Chavez, who has threatened military action unless Zelaya, his puppet, is restored to power. As I mentioned, the entire governmental structure, all bodies of legal authority in Honduras are opposed to Zelaya. His own party was going to open an investigation into whether he was mentally competent to hold office. His party. Okay? That's like Nancy Pelosi opening competency hearings on Barack Obama. His approval ratings are abysmal. They are 30%. You will see on leftist networks, trying to hype up the protest or whatever. Sure, they're a protest. I mean, I'm sure that there's a version of Acorn in Honduras. The overwhelming majority of the country does not support him, does not approve of him, is thrilled that he has been removed from power following a legal, orderly series of events. And that's it for now. That's the latest. Take care.